It was a fabulous tool, and I often am telling people that they should really look into it for both record keeping and parent education. So it's my pleasure to introduce Jeremy Lightsmith, who's representing Transparent Classroom, one of our major sponsors.
So I'm Jeremy, I'm the founder of Transparent Classroom. I was a Montessori kid. I went through second grade. I'm also a Montessori parent. That's Mika, he's my 5-year-old. He makes funny faces in photos. I don't know where he got that from. And he goes to Lighthouse Montessori, which is a school that I helped co-found about 7 years ago. And I know many people in this room have started schools. It was really hard. There was all these logistics and rules and things to get together, and all these systems to put together. And on top of all that, the staff came to me and said that record keeping was going to be especially hard because it was a dawn to dusk program, and they had two teachers in each classroom, and so how are we going to do that? And so in order to help them with record keeping, in order to give them one system as opposed to the 20 that I was trying to cobble together, I wrote the first version of Transparent Classroom. And it helped a lot. Parents came to us later on and said, it'd be really great if we had photos that we got more often, and that became a thing. And so eventually Transparent Classroom was born. So today we do online record keeping and lesson planning for Montessori schools around the world. And not just that, we also do parent communication and administrative functions as well. But our focus is really the first, the record keeping and lesson planning. The reason we do it, our purpose is because we want to help you in your purpose of healing the world through its children. And that really gives us meaning. That's why we get up and work really hard to help y'all. And we've been very successful. Our growth has been pretty great. Today we're over 800 schools around the world. We're in over 50 countries. And we have 60,000 children. It's pretty just humbling, honestly. And we got there by asking again and again, how can we be of service? How can we be of service to you? What keeps you up at night? What's hard? How can we make your lives easier? What takes up your time? And you told us, and you keep telling us, and we keep listening, and we keep making it better for you. So today I want to ask, how can we be of service to this group, to MPPI, to advocacy? And one idea that I came up with was data. We find ourselves in a place today that we have more data coming in because we have more schools than any other platform by a bit. So we just have all this data that we're just sitting on, and there's a lot of potential there. And so I want to ask you to think about what we could do with all that data. So to give you an idea of what I'm talking about, we could ask, when is the ping tower introduced? So I've never looked at this graph. We just had this question last week. I pulled some data last week, and it looks like the ping tower is introduced. There's a huge spike at 3, and then it kind of tapers off for the rest of the primary. Kind of interesting. When is it mastered? It's more of a regular curve, centered around 4, 4.5. And this is a lot of data. This is statistically significant data. This is data from 13,000 children. And so what can we do with this data? Is this particular data useful to you? Would it be useful if it was in a transparent classroom? Would it be useful to the movement? We don't know. And I'd love for you to start thinking about, what could we do? We could ask, what are the next presentations that are given after Ping Tower? There's so many questions we could ask. Which are the ones that are going to make a difference? And also, if we're meant to be scientists, it's so hard to close that last loop. Is there data that we can give you that would let you validate your hypotheses, that would let you be a better scientist in the classroom? Is there data that we could give you that would take away work as opposed to give you work? These are some of the questions that we would really love to answer. And so if you have those answers, come talk to me. Let's talk about standards. So one of the big problems in our work in talking about efficacy of Montessori is that we have Montessorians rightly thinking in terms of materials and lessons, and we have legislators, federal and state, that think in terms of standards and test results. And we've done some of the work to crosswalk that, largely leaning on the work that you have done to map those together, which is great. And we, along with other platforms, can have Montessorians record how a child did in terms of materials, and then generate a report that people outside Montessori can actually understand. And that's great, but we'd like to go farther. We'd like to close that loop. And to do that, we need test results, so that we can say that, yes, actually, because Johnny because I record that Johnny mastered this material, there's a 78% correlation with the fact that he will do this well on a standard. because right now we're still kind of guessing. And so my second ask is that if you are a transparent classroom school and you have access to test results, we'd love to talk to you. We'd love to start doing some of that correlation, and we'd love to give that data back to the movement so that we can talk more about the efficacy of Montessori. And lastly, I just want to invite you all to join the team. So some of you are transparent classroom schools. If you're not, definitely I invite you to check out our website, transparentclassroom.com. There's a video you can watch. You can sign up for a demo. I think you'll be happy with what you see. And if you are a transparent classroom school, I invite you to become an ambassador. We have an ambassador program, and the ambassadors are the people that we go to first when we have like a new idea, a brand new feature. We get some feedback from them. We ask them for help. They keep us honest and make sure that as we innovate and do things that no one's ever done before, that we stay true to the Montessori method. I'll be here in the next couple days. Please come talk to me. I'd love to talk to each and every one of you. Thank you.